Shohei Ohtani, Ronald Acuna Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Fernando Tatis Jr. These four are not only some of baseball's biggest stars, but they made up 4 of the 5 spots in Fangraphs' top 5 prospect list back in 2018. Who was the 5th member of this group? Victor Robles. In fact, not only did Fangraphs tout him as arguably the most polished prospect on their top 100 list, the 20-year-old Robles was universally regarded as a future star, with MLB Pipeline using the labels franchise player, perennial all-star, and even MVP candidate. However, recently the Nationals released Robles after years of setbacks, misfortune, and disappointment. So the question is, what happened?
And Robles underneath. Oh, he dropped the ball, and now the runner's trying to advance, and they both will.
Back is Robles, and it's caught!
What a play by Victor Robles!
It's the 2019 World Series, and the Nationals are close to completing their improbable journey to a championship under the leadership of Anthony Rendon, Steven Strasburg, and Max Scherzer, among many others. At the same time, a certain 22-year-old center fielder was in the midst of a breakout year. In his first full big league season, Robles became just the 5th center fielder since 2000 to accumulate at least 4 WAR in a season by the age of 22. Although, considering the hype Robles had as a prospect, producing a season of this caliber so early into his career was basically expected of him. Signed by the Washington Nationals in 2013, at 16 years old, team scouts envisioned Robles as a 5-tool player, meaning a player who can hit for contact, hit for power, run well, field well, and has a strong arm. As a result, no position was better suited for him than center field.
Robles, and he caught it! Now he launches a throw to first! Look at that throw!
That man's gonna win a Gold Glove, count on it.
Robles once described himself as a player that's very aggressive and that is never comfortable with staying where his abilities are. I always want to be improving. This mindset was the foundation behind an aggressive play style scouts took note of, most notably on the base paths, in the outfield, and in the batter's box, but probably not in the way you may think. Take a look at Robles' 2016 season. At age 19, he played his first year with over 100 games, producing some promising numbers, including 37 stolen bases. However, bizarrely, he was also hit by 34 pitches. More often, he reached first base by being hit by a pitch than he did by drawing walks. Now, of course, Robles' 2016 season took place in the minor leagues, where pitchers, many of whom will never reach the majors, are working on their control. But, as detailed by J.J. Cooper of Baseball America, Robles crowds the plate while he's in the batter's box, essentially daring pitchers to pitch him inside. This aggressive strategy gave Robles plenty of free bases, but it wasn't without risk, as he missed a few weeks of games in 2016 due to a hand injury suffered by a hit by pitch. Nonetheless, Robles' mindset and talent was on display every game in multifaceted ways, and as a result, his prospect stock skyrocketed amongst all major baseball publications. In fact, following an impressive 2017 season where Robles hit 300, showcased more extra base hit power, and played his first 13 games at the big league level, where of course his first time getting on base was after a hit by pitch, MLB Pipeline conducted a survey among 45 players and executives to determine who was the better prospect, Victor Robles or Ronald Acuna Jr. Overall, 2 out of every 3 voters chose Acuna over Robles, but there was a consistent theme between many of these responses. You're probably splitting hairs here. This is a ridiculously tough question. I'm not sure. This one could be too close to call. Similar age with almost identical minor league performance. Analyzing their MLB Pipeline tool grades, these 2 star prospects specialized in different areas, but Robles was the only top 100 prospect that year with 3 70 grade tools on the 20 to 80 grading scale. Assuming he lived up to the full potential of these prospect grades, that's a franchise player with MVP upside. No wonder why he consistently received comparisons to MVP MVP Andrew McCutchen and Royals franchise player Lorenzo Cain. To be compared to a great baseball player, how do you not feel great about that? While Robles was set to begin the 2018 season in AAA to get everyday reps, the hype was at an all-time high, and he was likely one hot streak away from forcing himself into the big league lineup. Well, unfortunately, his aggressive play style caught up to him in April 2018, when Robles hyperextended his left elbow while attempting to make a diving catch. He didn't begin a rehab assignment until July. At the same time, there was another outfield prospect who began the year ranked below Robles, but ended up forcing his way onto the big league roster. And he was thriving.
2 hits tonight. First pitch. Deep left center. Goodbye! It's Juan Soto, the Nationals dugout, going wild.
This is 19-year-old Juan Soto. Heading into 2018, Soto had played only 83 games through 2 seasons, and as impressive as his performances were, the lack of experience plus not possessing the 5-tool potential Robles had led to a 50-place gap between these two players on Baseball America's Top 100 Prospects list. Then, Soto went on a historic run. For context, Soto began the 2018 season in Single-A. You want to guess how many minor league games he played that year before making his big league debut? Go ahead, guess. He played 39 games before his call-up in mid-May. He cruised through 3 levels of the minor leagues, but what ultimately got him a spot on the major league roster was the multitude of injuries the Nationals were dealing with. If Robles doesn't get injured, maybe he gets the call-up before Soto. Instead, Robles was limited to only 21 big league games in the final month of the regular season, while Soto faced off with Ronald Acuna Jr. in a Rookie of the Year race for the ages. Although, in that final month, Soto and Robles offered a glimpse at an exciting future, maybe alongside the man who stood to their left, Bryce Harper. Just imagine these 3 as DC's starting outfield. Well, that dream didn't last very long, as Harper signed with the Phillies ahead of the 2019 season.
That's what I want to do. We want to bring a title back to DC.
Still, in spite of this massive loss and sitting 12 games under 500, 50 games into the 2019 season, the Nationals put together one of the most memorable World Series runs in modern baseball history. A run that wouldn't have been possible without Soto and Robles. Soto's numbers were very similar to his rookie season, but Robles was the one who finally got the chance to play a full big league season, and he lived up to the expectations. In addition to becoming the first player since Mike Trout to accumulate 30 doubles, 15 home runs, and 25 stolen bases in a season by the age of 22, Robles was, according to Outs Above Average, the best defensive outfielder in the league. Soto and Robles were set to take over as the pillars this organization builds around as they entered a new era.
Tell you what, these 2 kids can go around the bases with each other forever.
Well, here we are, 5 years later. Funny enough, Soto has played for more teams than Robles, but only one of these guys is due to receive one of the largest contracts in baseball history this upcoming offseason, while the other is fighting for his pro career. So, what happened? Well, let's just say Robles' 2019 season was a bit of a facade. In 2019, Robles hit 17 home runs. Since 2020, he's been limited to only 12 home runs, the 3rd lowest number of home runs in this span among players with at least 350 games played. Now, injuries have certainly been a factor in Robles' stunted development, as 2019 has been the only year where he's played over 150 games. But let's look at the year 2019. This is the year where basically everyone hit double-digit home runs. I think I might have hit double-digit home runs that year. This is because the baseball that was used throughout the year was altered in a way that allowed the ball to travel further, resulting in the most home runs in league history. At the same time, Robles made some history too. Since the start of the StatCast era in 2015, only 3 players have hit at least 10 home runs in a season, while their average exit velocity for that season was under 84 miles per hour. Keep in mind, of the nearly 1,400 qualified individual seasons since 2015, on only 15 occasions has a player produced an average exit velocity this low. Long before his big league debut, there were debates between scouts on whether Robles should focus on a leadoff hitter archetype or whether he'd grow into a player who could be a middle-of-the-order power hitter. Fast forward to spring training of 2019, and Robles hadn't instilled much hope in the latter. After all, to consistently hit home runs or line drives, you need to hit the ball hard, which, to be fair, Robles actually did in 2019. Sometimes. In reality, the difference between his home run and non-home run exit velocities were drastic. All things considered, the takeaway from Robles' 2019 season is that he was better served to pursue becoming the contact hitter he was throughout his minor league career. This is not what happened. Instead, Robles added 15 pounds of muscle ahead of the 2020 season, resulting in the unintended consequence of a decline in speed, agility, and defense, while also not experiencing any benefits on offense. "The game got too fast," Robles said, "and I started forgetting some basic elements of my approach." Robles slimmed back down for the 2021 season to regain the speed and quickness he lost, but he hasn't replicated the highs of his 2019 breakout year. Even worse, over the years, he's been routinely criticized for recklessness and mental lapses on the base paths.
That cannot happen, and it just did. I don't know what else to say.
"I still can't believe it," Robles said after this May 2024 blunder. "Why not, Victor? You have played in 523 Major League games over 8 seasons. The same stuff keeps happening." That's what Washington Post columnist Barry Svrluga wrote in response, along with an article detailing the Victor Robles experience. "He'll make frustrating blunders, but then reel you back in by driving in a run, providing great defense, and flashing his speed on the base paths, which is exactly what he did 2 games prior to the blunder-filled mess I just showed you." Ultimately, a couple weeks later, Robles was released by the Nationals and signed with the Mariners. According to Dave Martinez, injuries had a lot to do with Robles not reaching his full potential in DC. For me, he's gotta find what his identity is. Be that guy that creates havoc. When talking about Robles back in 2021, Max Scherzer emphasized that you're never really a finished product. Big leaps happen in the 5th year, 7th year, even the 10th year. Of course, one of the biggest stories of the 2024 season is the emergence of former #1 prospect Jurickson Profar. A decade into his big league career, Profar is finally living up to his superstar potential. With Robles now in his 8th big league season, can he do the same one day? Well, to me, the biggest difference between these two is their foundational skills. In particular, Profar has always held great plate discipline, while Robles relies on his speed, a tool that ages poorly as the years go on. Although, considering Profar's emergence is also attributed to a sudden increase in contact quality, I suppose it's not impossible to one day see Robles hit the ball harder on a more consistent basis. But ultimately, that just may be wishful thinking. The unfortunate reality is not every player is going to live up to their perceived potential. But that doesn't mean Robles' career has been a failure. Far from it.
The celebration is on! The Washington Nationals are the world champions!
We don't win a World Series without him. Robles started 12 of the Nationals' 17 postseason games in 2019, including all 7 World Series games, and while he didn't produce a Howie Kendrick-level moment or Steven Strasburg-level performance, Robles will forever have a place in the Nationals' championship story, in particular by catching the final outs of both the National League wildcard game and the NLCS, resulting in 2 of the largest home crowd celebrations in team history. Robles didn't turn into the superstar he was once projected to become. However, I guess you can say he peaked at the right time, as without his 2019 contributions, a season once thought to be his breakout season, who knows if the Nationals win it all. While the Victor Robles experience can leave you frustrated at times, he has been known to use his once highly regarded tools to reel you back in. And personally, I'm incredibly curious to see if that 5-tool package can ever fully come together for an entire season. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like if you did, and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching.